guys, what do you think about Slumflower's conversation with Zizi where she said that marriage is like prostitution? I didn't know where to go with it. I didn't know what I felt. I'm like, people do say it's a transactional business, but does it have to be reduced to prostitution? Is it prostitution? Are you a prostitute if you get
Let's ask the married person. Are you a prostitute?
Are you a prostitute? Are you a whore?
Whore of Babylon.
Are you a whore?
You know what the thing is? I just feel like I like Slumflower, but she says things that are just hyperbolic, and I understand that what she's likened it to, you could do for any relationship. So every relationship is transactional. So then is all forms of relationships a part of prostitution? They're not. It's very different. Like you're not gonna say that somebody working in retail is a prostitute because they're getting money in exchange for a product. It's like, it's not the same thing. So no, I think she was kind of chatting shit.
Oh.
But
Well, I was about not less than 5 minutes in, but okay.
What do you guys think? I absolutely have no reason to think this. I don't think it's that. But I don't know if there's anywhere where any of you guys can see some sort of semblance of what she's saying.
the correlations?
Why it's that? Why does it have to be prostitution?
I think she's just making a point that it is transactional. Like, do you know what I mean? And just to not to kind of like not necessarily put yourself above anyone because it is transactional. Like, I think there's part of that is in it. I think she's exploring ideas. I think she's like, do you know what I mean? Like, just looking at relationships and how they work out today in today's society. Do you know what I mean? How it's like there's so many aspects that are so superficial and so kind of like, you know, if you look like this and you can get this, if you, do you know what I mean? If you, there's not so much love aspect into it as at the moment. But to be fair, I didn't watch the full conversation, so I only watched like the clips, kind of thing.
What do you think? Is Nana a whore?
Only she's a whore. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's prostitution. I think that's a bit deep to say that it's prostitution. I think I understand that sometimes people say you're paying, you know, you're offering a service if you're married, like you're providing a service. I've heard that before. But prostitution is very different to the sanctity of marriage.
A lot more into it. You don't move in with someone and cook and calculate.
You don't
when
have
you're a prostitute.
No, unless you're Julia Roberts.
Oh, well, there's that too. And she didn't cook and
became a wife, didn't
she? Became a wife.
They do.
Well, we don't know. It's, you know.
It's
left to the imagination. But
she did have. I think she had a comeback. She said,
recently I had a lot of women coming at me because I went on a podcast and I was discussing why sex work and marriage have links. And so for me, I think what I found quite difficult to grapple with was the fact that the reason why so many of the women were angered was because in me saying that marriage and sex work are, in my eyes, almost the same thing. I mean, sorry, if anything, marriage is the most acceptable form of sex work, in my opinion. What they found very discomforting was the idea of them being likened to sex workers, because a lot of women, especially conservative Christian women, they believe that marriage makes them the purest and the highest position of the apex of respectability, and sex workers are positioned by society at the bottom. But you are bartering, you are cooking, and you are cleaning, and you are rearing children in order for your husband to play the role of being a husband and loving you and giving you a ring.
I was almost like...
She did a little bit.
And then it was like, dude, the things are so different. Like, it's not like a prostitute can't be a mother, but they are so different roles anyway. So throwing in the rearing of a kid, it's like, okay, come on now. This is silly. And not all marriages have those archetypal roles anyway. So not all marriages consist of a woman who is cooking and cleaning and doing it. My marriage definitely doesn't. Like, it's not all of that. And within the act of sex, it should be two people enjoying this act and getting something out of it.
Equal
it's
power.
not always a woman just lying there and just satisfying her
Yeah.
man. Like, she just has a negative view of marriage, and that's cool. You don't have to get married. It's actually okay. And also, I would think most people who are in a marriage know that just because you're in a marriage, you are not the top of anything. Most people, it is a perception that is out there, but you find that it generally doesn't come from people in a marriage, because they know what it is. You know the reality of what you're in. You just have a union with another human being. Like, really.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that point. I think like there's a lot of married people who look down on people who are not married. Do you know what I mean? I'm not definitely not saying that to you. I don't get that energy from you. But I definitely know a lot of married people that are, especially older as well, kind of thing. Especially growing up as well, kind of thing. I think she's highlighting the point that there are a lot of women in marriages that are not serving any of those things that you mentioned, who are not being satisfied and who are not kind of, or are playing this role where they're only serving their man. And I think she's talking about those marriages. I can't speak for her, do you know what I mean? But I think she's stereotypical talking about women who are not fulfilled in those roles, like, do you know what I mean? But they still have this air of like, well, at least I'm married, do you know what I mean? And it's just like, actually, if you're not living for you while you're in that situation, then what's the difference between you and a sex worker? I think that's kind of her point.
I think that's where she's coming from. It's just to bring down all the women that have looked down on anyone and just like, yeah, what? You're a prostitute. Same way. I think that's what it is. But it's again, when you have a conversation and you don't caveat and make it very clear, then your points get lost in the dramatics of it all and the hyperbole of it all, because it isn't, because she said specifically Christian women in those type of traditional relationships, but not all Christian women in traditional relationships, traditional marriages do look down on women and judge people who are sex workers. There's a very slim, and how many of these people are you speaking to?
Do you actually know?
Do you actually know? Are you reading stats? What's your point there? So I think you have to be quite specific about what you're saying, because otherwise it is exactly what I think is exactly that. That's who she's talking to. Those people that do judge, and if you're in a soulless, loveless marriage, and you're just fucking a man for the bare minimum, then you're kind of like a sex worker, aren't you? But it's really a bit. You're really pulling each corner to try and make it meet in the middle, and it don't.
Yeah. I
disagree?
think part of it. No, I just think like part of her point also is like the judgment of sex workers.
Yeah,
like, do you know
that's
what I
the
mean?
point.
And I
Then-
think that is like is kind of proving her point. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's
it's
across
like
the board, no?
no, it is. But like that's a kind of like. Like, she's highlighting the fact that if you liken sex workers to people who are married or women that are married, there's such this ritual because they're so different from sex workers. And what she's saying is that no, actually they're not.
But
I
they
thi-
are a little bit, though.
Yeah,
I think they are because
they
even
are. But I understand what she was doing with the juxtaposition, but it doesn't really hit because
doesn't.
sex workers are judged by everybody. So liken it to, let's say, the quote unquote top of society, I just think it doesn't hit in the same way. Like I think it just makes a folly of the judgments against sex workers, that it's definitely, we should all be like, these are still human beings and they deserve our respect. But you don't have to use those contrasts to prove your point.
I think that-
because you lose your point in it, because it becomes a bit poo-pooed. And I think that's probably been one of my issues with her. I really do like what she stands on, but sometimes I'm like, it borders on ludicrous for no reason other than going viral. I wouldn't put her in my enemy bin, but maybe
Why? 'Cause she called you a sex worker.
on this front, maybe I am putting her as an enemy of progress.
Wow.
And on that note, welcome to Your Aunties Could Never. I'm Auntie AK, the auntie of all aunties, and I'm here with...
I'm Farah, your resident Caribbean queen.
I'm Nana, aka the Black Fairy, aka Dark and Lovely.
And I'm all things sugar and shade, Sade.
Hey! This is Your Aunties Could Never. It is. Now it's time for Enemies of Progress, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Oh my God. And honestly, no one could have prepared me for this.
Wasn't on the bingo card.
Honestly,
Not for
I was
this year.
Not for
No.
2024.
It's 2024, baby.
2024.
It's the
It's a
year
bit
of reckoning.
crazy. Yeah, Philly's been arrested.
Big
Young
arrested.
Philly's been
Big
arrested.
arrested.
Yeah. He was in Australia doing a tour, some sort or something like that, and he basically it was just such a shock that he is on 4 grape charges. He has to surrender his passport. He is on bail. He had to pay $100,000, I think, Australian dollars, obviously, and he has to report into the police station every day. And I don't even know when the trial is set yet. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there is a date.
I think they're saying it could be leaning towards December. He definitely cannot leave.
He can't leave Australia
until
at the
December.
moment. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit intense. Didn't see that coming. Was totally shocked. Saw the news and thought this has to be some sort of a joke. What the hell is going on? And it turns out it was absolutely true. This in terms of the arresting and everything like that. There are some people on the internet suggesting that the person who's accused Philly of this is a person that's done this before, tried to do this before. We cannot confirm or deny or do you know what I mean, put thingy to that, but there are some of these rumors out there. Chunks came out and said that he's not going to comment on it. I know people are pressuring Nella Rose to comment on it. I don't think she has at the moment.
Okay.
We've seen on his social media that the brands that he's worked with, like I think like M&S and
they cancelled,
and
no.
things like that. I believe have been disappeared from his site, from his page and everything. Like the brands are distancing themselves away from him. What do we think? How did you because he's such a big personality, he's such a big force in even our space, he's a podcaster as well. Do you think the appropriate action has been taken?
I think it's hard
what your thoughts?
I think if you've been accused of rape, then you go through the processes.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do.
But
because it's not who am I to say this is right and wrong, because there seems to be some evidence. If the woman is a liar, that will come out in the wash. If she's not and she's telling the truth, that will come out in the wash. It's unfortunate that we've got a succession of black men that are going through this situation, and so it's a shame, it's a disappointment that he's even in a space where this could even happen. So that's the part, even if it wasn't what he didn't do what he was accused of, what situation was he in that he could even be anywhere near it? And I understand sometimes it might be difficult in these spaces and you think you're doing one thing and it's not that. I don't know. I've not been in that situation myself. So it's just, I implore you up and coming stars, you just don't forget yourself. Don't get caught up in these situations. I don't understand if you're I don't understand the want, you come off tour, you come off the stage because apparently it was a fan and you get into it. Can't you wait? Can't you vet? Can't you take your time? Do you have to fulfill every emotion and go into, just go into the room and do what you need to do? Do you have to get it off your chest in that way? I don't understand, that's the part, but I've never been in that situation. I've never been in a situation where I'm so tempted that I had to live out all my desires, otherwise I feel like I'm going to implode. I don't know what that is or what that situation's like, and lots of people in that celebrity space have found themselves in these situations where they either lose control or naturally a predator, and that's what you're about, and you're going to get caught. So I don't think I can say whether it's right or wrong. I think let due process is due process.
Like justice to its thing.
Yeah.
I think this is a symptom of so many things that are plaguing young people and celebrities, but not just celebrities, young people. There's so many images of sex going around and lots of different ways that kids are kind of socialized to be very sexual and to think that kinks and whatever that comes with, but there seems to be a level of violence with it as well. And Philly has kind of given jokes to this already. There were clips out there where he has been oh, I like choking. So he set himself up for this. Which way it goes, there's you know, a bit of a desperation to him when he's talking. Like he has that thing about him. So I'm more like, okay, he's one part. There is loads of images bombarded at us all, but young boys are impressionable. He has that, and we have to think about that as a society. But also, all of the brands that had him on, they were allowing him to do jokes and sexual innuendos that are inappropriate. And they had women around him in the same way. And I think they are also complicit to this kind of facade, and they rammed him down our throats like he is a good, funny, safe black boy. But when you really look into how he would talk, there was a lot of questionable content that is on their platforms that they're now removed from. And I think they also are enemy of progress is for kind of allowing him to have that rise, a bit like Russell Brand. It's okay when they're popular until shit goes left. And it's like, no, you inflicted this person onto the world. And yes, you shouldn't even be in those positions. I don't care if you're horny as hell. You should know that you're affiliated with so many other brands and people and their livelihoods. You should be able to conduct yourself effectively. Like Chunks is suffering, Nella Rose is suffering. That it's crazy. I just feel sorry for all of them because he was so high up. But I hope that justice is served whichever which way it goes.
I feel like my main annoyance with this is some of the stuff that I'm hearing, and it's the usual old rhetoric of, well, what was the girl doing there in the first place? Mm-hmm. What's that stupid guy? Is it Toksky or whatever his name is? That him, that pussy hole. Sorry, why was the girl in the room in the first place? If you go to somebody's room, then what do you think's gonna happen? Are you gonna go? He said that shit.
His time is coming.
Yeah, it's definitely coming. But yeah, that's the kind of shit that I hate, because like you all said, let's see what happens in it. Yeah, I don't think that you can blame her for going there if she is the victim and she's telling the truth. And if he's the victim, then I don't think you can blame him as well, because you sometimes in these predicaments have people that are going to lie because he's famous, and then equally you have people that are in a position of power and take advantage because they're famous. I would just like to see how the story unfolds before I cast judgment on anything. But anyone that's trying to victim blame and say that you're the one, what was she wearing, that type of old scenario, you all are in the enemy of progress bin.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think we all have to like sit and wait, really and truly, and just see what actual evidence that they have. Do you know what I mean? And what that situation is. And I do think it is kind of like a warning to young boys as well. Like not even just young boys, because he's 29. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
he acts like a 22-year-old.
Honestly,
yeah, he does.
Like a kid.
I know, seriously. But again, it's just like that's your brand. Like, you know what I mean? And you've been enabled in that way, you know. So like, it's just like, yeah, because it doesn't take like he's probably like he's definitely, isn't he like a millionaire, multi-millionaire?
Yeah, I would say
like
so.
That. Maybe a little close.
Yeah,
I would say
you know
he's
what I mean?
there.
If he isn't, then he's definitely close for sure. Like, it doesn't take for you to be even at that level to get into these situations. I definitely know, like, you know, not directly related to me, but people that I know that have been, gone to jail for a similar situation where they're partying, let's say partying, inverted commas, with some girls. The girls have called, you know, grape, and they're in prison. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's just like their word against, you know, their word against each other. And it's just like, you know, when you look into the details of it, and it was in that particular case, there was a pattern that they were doing this to like regularly every weekend. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was just like, what is going on here? Like kind of thing, and justice wasn't really served. So I think it's what you're saying, Farah. Like, obviously if she's the victim, of course, like, do you know what I mean? Throw him under the jail, right? But if she's not the victim, she needs to go to jail.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think
you need a punishment.
Yeah,
100%.
You can't do this to somebody.
Because
100%.
Yeah, it invalidates all the people who are truly victims of the situation and don't get believed and don't get listened to. And I think there's advice for I say young women who are in these situations, or women who get into these situations. It's not victim blaming, but it's like that celebrity that you fancy on screen or you like on screen. That personality is not them. You don't know them. And I know when you're a fan of someone, you have this kind of connection where you think you know them, but you just don't know that human being. You don't know them behind the screen. The social media image, the video image, what you watch, what you listen to, that's not them. So if you get into a situation where you have the opportunity to be with them outside of that space, you have to have your wits about you. And maybe that's not the situation you need to go forth in. I don't know, and it's not victim blaming, but it's just that there's an area, because let me use my daughter. If my daughter's like, I'm going to so and so's concert, if any way, shape or form, I'm like, I don't even know, whatever. I don't know how we would even have this conversation. I don't know if I'd need to, but if I need to say, don't go backstage with that person, don't go anywhere else. Like if you want to do a meet and greet, but if you get called to go to another place with the crew, don't do it. There's some advice I would give my child on the limitations. You could maybe do a meet and greet, make sure you're with your friend, don't go off into any sirens, don't take any drinks from anyone, to protect yourself. It's not victim blaming, it's what are the tools to protect yourself in that space where, yes, you might want to meet your favourite celebrity, but just there's a door that you don't go past. Do you know what I mean?
I do hear what you're saying, but obviously, like, you know, those types of predators and horrible people shouldn't be doing what they're doing.
No, I agree. I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like, yeah.
Either which way. If he's guilty, obviously, we're not seeing him again.
Yeah.
Because he'll probably get deported as well. But if he is found innocent, like literally goes to trial and he is let off, do you think there is any way he would have a career, like moving forward?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think so. Yeah, I think people do forgive, and I think people like, do you know what I mean? They will back him. People are backing him now. To be fair,
they are.
Do you know what I mean? And like, he has definitely got loyal fans out there. Do you know what I mean? And we just don't even know what the contents of this case is going to be at the moment. That was my point. I was going to say, it's just like, you know, you just don't know who the person is though sometimes. Like, do you know what I mean? Because like, even his friends, even like, you know, Chunks and whatever, he could be the best guy to Chunks and just have like some maybe risque banter. Do you know what I mean? That's just possible. But, you know, under certain circumstances, you're the devil.
You're that guy.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like, we just don't know. And you can't unless that person wants to show you who they are, you're not going to see it.
You're not going to see it.
Yeah.
You know?
I was just going to say, like, you can't throw your hand in the fire for someone all the time.
This is
in those kind of situations as well. And I just think, will he have a career? Yes, he will. I think there'll probably always be a stain on him. That's what I will say. Yeah. Because of he's known to be a little bit, you know, he might not have done this, but because he's known to be a little bit risque, there'll probably be a little stain on him. But
you see, we were talking about LL Cool J and other people commenting on Diddy, and this is why I'm like, I agree. Also, Nella Rose and Chunks can't say anything if they don't know anything. If you know something, that's a different situation.
I think the Diddy situation is very different.
We saw a video with Diddy. Like, do you know what I mean?
I'm just saying that even though
we saw him literally drag her down the corridor.
I'm just saying that in the moment
they're not seeing this.
I'm saying that with the press going to people randomly, like you're at an event, say you're at the BET Hip Hop Awards and you're on the carpet and then someone says, what do you think about Diddy?
I still think it's very different because the Diddy thing, right, exactly.
You've seen an absolute video of the guy doing. It's not even the same thing. Like, you can't equate it.
I'm with you. I totally disagree. This is 20 odd years of this man being notorious for doing fuckery, and then we've seen it in 4K. Like, I think it's very different. If you're asking Chunks about what's happened to Philly, and he's like, I don't know, fine. If you're set, because there is no video footage, you can't see the evidence. There isn't. There's no video.
We haven't seen anything yet.
You can't see anything yet. If you're asking LL Cool J about what's gone on with Diddy, at the very least, and I still stand by this, you should say, I denounce what he did to Cassie. Yeah. I've seen the footage, and I think it's disgusting. Yeah. And he shouldn't treat people like that. And I feel for his family. You can say that.
That's easy.
The rest of it, you don't need to talk about because maybe you don't know what I want. But for that, you can at least say that shit.
100%.
And I think that's all of them needed to do. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
The latest Diddy
Speaking of the
update.
diddler.
Bro.
Yes, let's. I think Diddy is probably going to be a part of the show every week until we find out
Unfortunately.
what's going on. But Diddy was hit with 6 lawsuits in one day.
Jesus.
This is, I believe his name is Tony Busby, who did the word has gone out of my head. The news conference where he said, "I have 120 people,
wow.
and I'm going to be filing the individual lawsuits, basically." So he did 6. It is 4 men, 2 women, and I have gone through the documents, and we'll probably go into them further on News and Nonsense. But literally, it's so heinous what each one of these people is saying, and they're all actually very different. Like for instance, one which is, I would say, slightly tame. He's a security guard, and he gets targeted by Diddy. Security guard. He's working at his event. For some reason, Diddy decides, this man, I'm gonna do things to this person. Allegedly. He starts off being nice to him, and then lures him into a part of the club. Does his thing, carries on partying. And it's like, so everybody that the lawyer said that he's representing has evidence to back up this claim. He said thousands of people came forward with stories.
Wow.
But the 120 that he is going to put the lawsuits for, they have evidence.
120.
Yes, of what happened. So this is 6 in one day. Like, it's... There is... If even literally... even 20 charges are, like, real, this guy is so prolifically heinous. For over 30 years, he has been terrorizing people. People who were working in Macy's. Like, it seems like there wasn't a spot that Diddy didn't go where he didn't do something to somebody.
Jesus.
Like, because how can you be in a department store and you essay somebody there? Like, wild.
But how? And
in the stockroom.
Stockroom.
but why are
When
you there?
Sean John was
Alleged.
there.
Okay, why is he allegedly in that situation? How?
They were selling Sean John.
Oh, okay.
There was some type of a kind of gifting thing that he was doing. He was there with his bodyguards, and this man was working for Echo, and he got assaulted.
Allegedly by
This is in the
transcript. Yeah.
This is literally. I'm just
the
going off
story
of what's in the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess it's
And
still
so
allegedly.
this is what he's saying happened to him, and he has a chain of telling security at Macy's, telling his manager, and then getting fired by the owner of Macy's, who said that this person cannot work here anymore. This is what he's saying. We have a multi-million-pound deal with Sean Combs. He has to go. And so he lost his job through it. He has his lawsuit in there as well.
Jesus.
It's a madness.
Oh, this man's foul, allegedly. And no, allegedly.
I mean,
He's
no,
fucking
he's foul. He's
no,
foul.
allegedly. It's just the fact that he's like really abused his power, as you said, to the point of he's doing it anywhere because he really believes that I can get away with what I want, and that's it. He's doing things in plain sight, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
even
when
if you think about him running down the hallway and dragging up Cassie, he didn't give a fuck about who else was in that hotel room, because it's like I can control the thing, and he did, innit, really, at the time.
Yeah.
He did for many years.
Yes.
6 years.
Yeah.
He lost all sense of reality. Like, he thought he was untouchable, so I can just get away with it.
So you're just minding your business
Even
at
that,
work.
you know that it's never going to last. It baffles me always when these people think that they're just untouchable, because it always comes to light.
No.
No, not always.
I mean, I could say,
that's a
I could
question.
say
That-
Jim.
I have a question,
I could say
but
Jim
yeah,
will
does
fix
it?
it.
Jimmy Savile.
Yeah,
Jimmy
that's
Savile.
not come to
He
light.
died free.
And
Like,
this
do you
man
know what I
had
mean?
heinous crimes
It's
against
true.
him for decades. I mean, like 6 decades plus. Like, he had the keys to hospitals.
To the hospitals to do it, yeah.
You know,
it's
they
true,
were
true,
like saying,
true.
"Come and have your food. Do what you want to do." If the hallways at the BBC, do what you want to do. They let him have a program with children called Jim Will Fucking Fix It.
Yeah.
Come on.
Wow.
It doesn't always come to light.
Yeah.
And then think of Mohammed Al Fayed.
Right?
All of his victims are coming
Yeah.
out now, and he's dead. Like, so
So did he thought he could ride it
Diddy
till the wheels
probably
fall
did
off?
think he could get away with it.
Because I suppose in that circle of disgustingness, they know
got a
people that
circle
have
of
got away
trust
with it.
that they think
They
that-
know people that are in it with them. And they know, like, everyone's bought out, isn't it? Like, they know lawyers and senators and all of these types of people, and probably have them in their weird little parties and just feel like they can get away with it.
So it goes
There's
back
people
to-
getting away with it now.
Yeah, so it goes back to him. Something went wrong somewhere, and now it's all coming out.
And he fucked with Diageo.
Yeah,
That's how his shit came out.
Allegedly.
yeah.
I have another. Tim Westwood has been thrown in this whole Diddy thing as
Oh,
well.
God.
There are links. People are saying that Westwood was doing parties in London, in the UK, with Diddy, and they were turning into freak-offs.
No.
What say ye? Do you think it's probably true? Do you think Westwood could be a bit of a UK diddler?
Where's this? Is this coming from Westwood's camp, or where's this coming from? Because if it's coming from his, I wouldn't. I don't think this man is above putting out rumors to get in the.
clout.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Rumours like that.
Yeah, this is the same man that said that he was shot, is it not?
Oh no, he was shot, no?
He was shot.
Was he?
What, with a
Have you
pellet
ever
gun?
seen?
Was shot.
Have you seen
Was
it?
it a pellet gun?
Have you seen his bullet wounds?
No.
No,
but I think that was
dude.
legit.
How?
I think it was legit. It wasn't a fatal wound. No. He was on a motorbike, innit? And he got shot in on holiday.
Really?
No, yeah. I
Someone
swear
probably
Tim
shot
Westwood-
I feel like
after
it
him.
was validated, but it wasn't a great. It
If he
wasn't
did
like.
something disgusting and then got shot.
Do you know what I mean?
But I think, whether it's a clout chase aside, for someone like Westwood and the culture vulture that he is, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want to say that, yes, this is because it's too easy. He needs to get got for the things he did. But the character that we feel like we know that he is, there's no way that he would turn that down. If he's got that tendency, he would have loved to be at a Diddy freak-off.
Oh, 100%.
He would have definitely been a ringmaster.
100%.
So in that respect, for what I allegedly think I know about Tim Westwood, he allegedly, definitely
He definitely
was
allegedly
part of the
was.
alleged freak-offs. Yeah.
Definitely allegedly would.
Yes.
I think he was involved in some shit.
Yeah.
I do. I think I can see him being like so fanboy that Diddy's even around him and like saying, "Oh, I can get this." I have my own.
Like that
I
pick me.
can, yeah, I
pick
can
me.
absolutely see him doing this shit.
You know what? You know, like when do you remember when all the guys like wanted to be Ciroc PRs?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that. I feel like he would be like that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I can sell all the Ciroc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine him.
Yeah.
He probably did. There's a video on his channel, and he's actually in Diddy's Star Island house. One of the only footage of the inside area, and it's Westwood that got it. But I am.
Was it? What's that show? Was it like Pimp My? Not Pimp.
No, this is
Yeah,
Westwood TV.
Oh
Westwood
shit!
TV, yeah.
Yeah, actually his show.
That those.
Not even MTV led. Westwood TV YouTube channel in Diddy's house. He did that shit.
I'm telling you, he
definitely.
did that shit.
He was out here doing
Allegedly.
freak offs.
Allegedly.
I'm gonna get an alleged.
He allegedly
Yeah.
did that shit.
Speaking of R. Kelly,
Do you want to give us a new update?
Oh, do I? Okay, I do. Of course I do.
just because we mentioned him, might as well.
Okay, so R. Kelly. So I think like maybe last episode or episode before that, we were talking about that we saw the trailer for the new documentary that features R. Kelly's ex-wife and his daughter and his son as well, kind of thing. And what we thought was happening is true.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What we suspected, our worst fears, is true, in the sense of where she, the daughter, has revealed that she allegedly was abused by her father, R. Kelly, which is absolutely heinous, disgusting. Do you know what I mean? Scummy behaviour. I haven't watched the documentary. I do want to watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but that, that has come out. People are asking why she's only mentioning it now.
I wish people would not ask those questions.
I know, it always comes up. It's very strange. Like, they don't understand how difficult it could be to even admit to yourself that this is reality.
Exactly.
How that she may have asked for help in some I think they did try to go to the police and that failed. And then there was a situation where they tried to go to court or sue or something like that, and that failed as well. And I think that R. Kelly's camp are using that to their advantage and trying to say, this isn't real. It's it's rubbish. They're just talking and that sort of thing, and it's just really. I personally find it just really sad.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's an impossible situation to live with. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this obviously happens to people every day. Not many people get the help and support that they need, let alone in this lady's case that, her father is like uber famous, and not just for, making music, but also for having a pattern of abusing women and being convicted of it. So, yeah, my heart just goes out to her in particular. Her mum still have complicated feelings about her mother.
Same.
I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same. I'm not sure with the mums. I feel like the mum has probably prejudiced the case because of her slightly inconsistencies and just how she's kind of played the media, which is really unfortunate for this young lady sharing her truth as she's put it forward. And the backlash, it isn't even about her. It's really been about her mum. It has been like, we can't trust this woman. And that's a hard place to be in. And yeah, his lawyers are totally saying, this is just a money grab. They're just after money. It's like, so what are you guys going to do about this? Like, basically, it's after money.
It's a lot to do a whole documentary on that. Like, and you're lying. Why? Just a money grab? I know people can do wild things for money, but it seems a bit too far, a step too far.
So, yeah.
But
It's just sad, isn't it? And, as for those people that are saying, why is she talking about it now? People deal with trauma in many different ways. There are people who suffered abuse 50 years ago,
Right.
and they're talking about it now. This is her dad as well. And also with all the other people that were coming out, that might have made her feel even more not able to discuss it, rather than making her want to say it.
Yes.
So those people need to shut the fuck up, basically. I just feel very sad for her. I don't know about the mum. I'm not sure about the mum. I'm not as anti as you. Like, I get it, but I think that she, in one of the early documentaries that I watched, she's also gone through traumatic stuff with him. But
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm just
she did say she also was abused in lots of different ways by him.
yeah.
right.
But don't you think, like, my conflict is like, well, why are you dancing to his music on IG?
Yeah.
That really kind of just throws me off.
What is that clip? Because I haven't seen it, but what happened? What's she doing? Is she promoting the song? Why is she? What's the scenario? What's the setup of that video?
She's just dancing.
Because she does dancing videos, usually like kind of sexy, kind of. You ain't seen her content?
Is that the
She's
one
a
where they said that Beyonce did her moves as well? Is that the same woman?
No.
Okay,
So.
I don't know who this is. Then.
But Drea is.
No, it is her. There was
her
something
thing's
she did
so
to
viral.
Cowboy Carter, right?
Oh,
She
maybe.
did a routine or something to Cowboy Carter.
Oh, yeah.
I know what you're talking
And then
about.
they- and
I forgot that was
Beyonce
her.
rated. Yeah.
yeah.
I did not know that
I
was her.
actually forgot that was her.
Okay, but I hadn't
Yeah.
seen the
She's
R.
always
Kelly
out here.
stuff. I've seen her.
Doing her,
Okay.
her dance. And she's a phenomenal dancer. But that clip, it was like, bro.
Why?
It's in poor taste, isn't it?
It really is, especially now that this has been revealed.
Yes.
Like, looking back on that, like, why would you
Why would you do that?
possess you to do that? That's harmful to your daughter.
Yes.
Are you guys going to watch the documentary?
I think
I
so.
mean, I can't lie. I am curious, and I hope, like, because sometimes with these things, it kind of can help build a case and help get justice in some sort of way.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's where my curiosity is. Like, is there enough here to actually get some real justice?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Enemy of progress is Barack Obama.
Oh, again?
I know.
Gosh.
Look
darn.
at me, right?
Back.
He's
Wow.
back.
Let's go.
What's he done?
Oh, mate. So Barack Hussein Obama has been out there campaigning for his mate Kamala Harris, right? And along the campaign trail, basically there's some stats in it saying that black men are like 4 in 5 of them aren't going to vote for Kamala Harris. They're like, it's low. The percentages are low.
Right.
So he is saying that I think the brothers, and it's worded like this, I think the brothers are, they're just being biased because she's a woman. And how can you want to vote for a white man called Trump? And anyone that votes for Trump, they should be disgusted if they're black, is what he's saying, right?
Right.
Now, I'm not saying I necessarily disagree with some of the things that he's saying there, but why he's in the bin for me is because, I mean, you allow certain things to happen to people of colour in your presidency. You're still promoting things happening to people of colour in effective parts of the world that are, you know, could do with USA not sending weapons of destruction. And you're backing people. So why should anybody come out here and listen to what you've got to say, bruv? I think it's time that you sit down. That's why he's in the bin for me.
Wholeheartedly agree. Yes. Absolutely. I think everything he said was, it's so similar to when Joe Biden said similar, like, are you even black if you're going to vote for Trump? And I don't like those sentiments, actually, because you're playing on this race thing when it suits you.
Yeah.
But when you want to kill folks, you're ready to do it. So you don't actually care about black people, really. Like, as Kanye West said, like, I just do not. I'm like, nah, I'm not buying it. And I'm also not saying Orange Man good either, but let's not try and go down like you're a bad black man for voting for Trump. Like, honestly, because you guys ain't much better at all.
I feel like this is all connect the dots. It's like par for the course. They're appealing now to the blacks and the Latinos, so they're rolling out their conversations. I think maybe it's an ill thought out conversation. I don't think it's so dramatic what he said, because I think, it's obvious that they're going to roll out the black former president that used to curry favour and speak to the black men, because there's this myth, or maybe myth, I don't know, it seems, it's the echo chamber of it all. Where's this, I think where I'm more like annoyed of it, maybe if I'd be annoyed of anyone trying to appeal to a particular group, where are your stats and facts? Where are your real numbers? Because there's echo chambers of social media that say black men don't do this and all these black men are voting for Trump. But what about that percentage of black men, along with black women, that voted for Hillary? And it was shown that it's mostly white women and white men that voted for Trump at the time. So black people actually, men and women, voted in favour of Hillary, and they lost because of white folks. So some of that kind of race baiting, I'm not really for it, but I'm not surprised or annoyed by it, because this is par for the course. It's the campaign. You're gonna bring your strongest Democrat that you think the blacks like to come and speak. Maybe you shouldn't be such a puppet, maybe, but I'm just like, oh, whatever. It's just, ugh.
I mean, my views are different on Obama's. Do you know what I mean? I don't have I'm not indifferent, and I don't have any hate for them. Like, I think he's doing his job, and I think he's doing it well. Like, honestly, I think like he has to send a message just so there's clarity. Like, like you guys can't even be thinking that Trump is even an option. Like, no. Like, there is something wrong if you vote for someone who is going to fast track your oppression. Like, that's his point. So no, I agree with him.
This is why I said that there's some parts that I agree with, but you can't talk about fast tracking oppression when you're backing fast tracking oppression.
He's a politician.
It's complicated. It's complicated. I'm not saying it's an easy thing. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like, it's like black Americans at the moment are in a very, very difficult position, because I think being black American, not to speak for you or anything like that, but like the way I see it is that there's a innate understanding of the oppression that's going on in certain parts of the world at the moment. Like, there is like, you get it, you understand it, but at the same time, in their home place where they live, do you know what I mean? If they vote for one candidate, it is going to fast track it. Do you know what I mean? They're in an impossible position. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like in order to kind of like, if this is what Obama needs to do to make sure that doesn't happen, then that's what he needs to do.
Yeah,
that's
I hear you.
I
hear you. I just don't know if anyone's, I think you said it, Nana. I just feel like no one's buying it because of the other stuff that he said and done at the moment. Like, I feel like he's not as favourable as as he thinks that he is, because people are looking at everything. Like, black people, Americans in general are suffering financially. Like, there was a massive hurricane the other day. How much money are they going to get for that? They've got problems with healthcare, housing, a whole bunch of stuff they've got problems with. And they're looking at where their dollars are going. And this is not me saying that I'm backing Trump because you know how I feel about that orange man. It's not that. I just feel like maybe he needs to, if he wants to get encourage people to vote in a particular way, maybe they need to start looking at the things that they're supporting as well.
No, I agree with you. And I think all of this is almost by design as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think the delay in solving this conflict in other parts of the world, I think that's all by design. It's very complicated.
See,
it's not right.
I actually don't think it is complicated. I think it's very simple. You're shaming people instead of giving solutions and policies. If you want people to come out in droves and vote, give them what they're asking for. It's not because you're black, you should do this. It's actually, okay, because you're black, this is what we are giving you, and this is why you should vote for us. I think it's very simple, but you're not going to do that. Because do you actually value the black vote? Because other people, they get bills. They get stuff that actually improves their lives. Do black people get that?
Well, that's a conversation for the masses, isn't it? Hold your people accountable. And it says, as you've even said, don't vote. Do something revolutionary. So I think I'm just like, because politicians are going to politician, and sometimes their campaign strategy or their campaign words aren't great. They get the wrong kind of script. They say the wrong thing. He made a faux pas. Kamala's going on her tour doing things. I think Charlemagne asked her on their kind of people's court, well, not people's court, the town hall that he had with her, if she felt like Obama's words hurt her, and she said no. Obviously, she has to back her. Yeah. He has to back him. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, they're all courting the black vote to ensure that she gets in. So I think I'm just like, no, whatever. It's just another thing to have everybody like this. And the bottom line is, for black Americans, you need to vote in your favour. And that is it. Look at the policies that suit you. Look at the candidates that suit you. Whoever it is, just vote in your favour, or don't. Whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm kind of, roll on November 4th. Is it November 4th? And let's see what happens.
I think it's the 5th that it's happening.
Right. Let's roll on that day. I'm tired. I just want to see what's happening, because it's too much talking and nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy for us to say.
Yeah, we're from out here.
Because it's not us. Do you know what I mean? But like, it's a very difficult decision that they have to make. If you're battling with your actual kind of like integrity, do you know what I mean? It's a very difficult decision to make. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I do think like Trump is not a good decision. No. It really isn't.
I think they're in that same weird spot as we were in a way, because like none of us like Keir Starmer. I don't know anyone that really, was backing Keir Starmer. Yeah. But what we did know is we could not continue with the Conservatives. Yeah. So I feel like that's where they are. They can't, no, Trump likes to spout nonsense like the country was doing so well when he was leading it. And it's like, was it though?
And even the Republicans, the hurricane that you talked about, it's the Republicans that are blocking the money to give out to people. Much. That's what they're doing. It's
disgusting.
Do you know what I mean? No, in the House. It's not Joe Biden vetoing it. It's in the House of
Representatives. That's what I'm saying. The Republicans are vetoing it. Yeah. What was I going to say? And also, actually, we're talking about the shaming of it. I don't like the shaming, but there are people it might affect. It might be like, you know what,
Yeah, I don't mind the shaming.
I think it's shitty politics.
Like, give generally.
Give a promise, and this is why people are going to come out. I mean, it probably will. I mean, it's all a sham in itself. But the thing. I think the shaming on it. Joe Biden did the same, and he had a backlash, and you're doing the same thing again.
And he's getting a backlash.
He's getting a backlash.
It's like, come on now, is this how you guys are courting column inches? Yeah. Is this a tactic that the Democrats are doing?
It's a shit tactic. Their tactics have been a bit shit.
They should have let Michelle come out and speak again.
That's
who they should have let speak.
Before we get into some great, nice, positive stuff, I just want to say, Drake, your bunchies are enemies of progress, and your pout is enemy of progress.
They are.
Why though?
Actually, Jimmy. Let me dial back immediately. I actually loved when Snoop had bunchies. There are certain guys who have hairstyles I don't mind, but the pout stressed me out.
It's just that it's Drake for me.
Drake's going through stuff, man.
He is.
Keep him in your prayers.
What? Like,
What?
seriously?
Really?
Is it that deep?
I think he's going.
That's deep, really?
Have you not heard his
Why?
rant when he's on stage talking about, you
My
know,
friend.
sometimes
He's
you
going
think you
through
got
stuff.
friends and your friends are not your friends.
Well,
And-
yeah.
And
doesn't
then,
upset
and then
me.
it cuts to a Beyonce track.
Saying what?
It's the.
What is that?
What song is
What
that?
song is that?
What
are you
excuse
talking
me? No.
No, you need to. What?
No.
I need a word so I can decipher.
Me, myself, and I.
Oh my gosh, she said,
Ain't that how it starts?
Is it?
No.
Ain't that how the Beyonce
No.
track starts?
Do you know what?
No, babe.
Everybody in your house, if you're happy,
Okay, the more you do it, the less I'm hearing, but I'm just getting what you mean. Now you said it's me,
I'm gonna
myself, and I.
clip that.
Do it. Do it.
It was just a picture. It's wild to me.
What I asked for, what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm in a space where men don't pout in pictures.
What do you mean?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't like
Really?
it.
I don't know. My brother has got like one of my brothers, one of the younger ones. We always cuss him because we're like, "Why are you pouting, though, bruv?" But it's just natural. So
that
it's
how
not
he does his
necessarily he's
pose?
just pouting. It's just his pose. I don't even
Drake
think.
weren't pouting the
I don't
other
think it's
day. Drake
intentional.
has started pouting like in the last 2 years. He's going through stuff.
Women are affecting men.
I just feel like.
What are you saying? No,
being
no,
a red
no,
pill.
you're
Drake
digging
to
up.
just-
I'm being a red pill.
I would just like Drake to disappear off the scene now. Like, and sometimes you hear, "Well, what's he doing now?" I'd like a "What's he doing now?" He's in a library selling books in Toronto somewhere. I would just like him to disappear. I really would.
I feel for him. Like,
Don't feel for him.
No, I do. I mean, like being at the top and then having your
Don't do fuckery.
pedestal kicks out from underneath you and you're unexpected. That's not nice. But
Don't do
don't feel
fuckery.
like-
Man, I
That's
need
it.
everybody to go through the 2024 wave.
Yeah.
First of all, before I feel for anybody.
That's true. That's
Right,
fair.
and
That's
I
fair.
feel like as you guys were
true.
talking,
It's a couple more months. We don't know what else is coming.
No,
It's true.
no, but I feel like 2025 is going to see some next level of people.
You feel?
Yeah, it's not finished.
Yeah, it's the next bunch of people, and I wouldn't
reveal.
be surprised if he's in that pile.
If Cat Williams is
how he
booked for an
looks-
interview at the beginning of the year, we know it's on.
Every year he needs to be
no.
booked.
He
He's
does,
like
doesn't he?
the almanac, the annual almanac.
Oh yeah.
Yes, definitely. Can I just bring to everyone's attention a clip of Angelica and Fleur on her show on his radio, and it's been going around, and loads of people are like really moved by what takes place.
I didn't realise the impact being on CBBC at that time. There was this guy, and he was like, "Angelica, you were my childhood." I'm grateful for those experiences and maybe the tough times that I went through where I was trying to work out who I was. I'm not actually, it was worth it.
And like you said, how you weren't comfortable to wear braids and things like that in the beginning, and maybe if you did, you maybe wouldn't be in the position you are now. You just being on TV, like for all the young black kids just watching you on TV, gave people hope. Maybe if you'd had more of an example before you got in that position, you could have stepped into who you are a lot sooner. Thank you on behalf of like a whole generation.
Sometimes I think I failed. Sometimes I think I haven't done enough.
Never ever think that you haven't done enough, that you've done more than enough.
Have you guys seen it? What did you think of it? Did it touch you that Angelica is sharing that she felt that she didn't do enough as a black woman on TV while we were growing up? Like she failed us in some way, that she wasn't being herself. She felt that she couldn't have natural hair and she couldn't even wear braids. Do you think that there may be some truth to her failing? I want to know what you guys think. How did she, what was she a representative for you? Did you used to watch her and feel like there's hope that a black person is on TV? Was she even in your realm of sight of she is speaking to me? Like, actually, I aspire to be like her. Like, she was a hope.
Not a hope at all in that respect, because I think, was I too old for her time? So she wasn't, I don't believe Angelica was someone I was looking to as an inspiration, but I appreciated her being there. Like, I think there's that. Like, maybe it's too far back for me to think about how I actually felt about her. I think it was June Sarpong, maybe, of that time, was the person that I was like, yeah, that's June on screen. Angelica, she was nice, sweet, and safe. Like, what show did she do? Was it Blue Peter?
Yeah.
I did not watch Blue Peter. I couldn't stand Blue Peter, to be fair. It reminded me of my Wimbledon days, and it was just like, oh my God, I'm just not a Blue Peter child. But her being in the space, I think I appreciated her presence. I don't know when I got politically savvy about the fact that in the UK especially, black people on TV were relegated to presenter status and tended to be on kids' TV. So there's an element of that. As she came out of it, I think I started with her doing a bit more grown-up work. I think I appreciated her being with a black man. I think my partner's mixed race, but like being a black couple, black love. So I was like, those elements, I was like, that was impressive. I think as older and representing black love, and especially in the UK space where it's not common for black celebrities in the public eye at that time, especially from those days, being in black relationships and visibly in black relationships. So I appreciated that side of her. So yes, I think she's definitely a legend, and she's probably an inspiration, but she wasn't my inspiration, but I liked her being in the space. And I don't think I would never say that you didn't do enough, because I have no idea what you were going through. I don't know and now she's talking about what she was going through. I can understand it's hard. And I wonder, because people don't have any empathy for Lenny Henry, for what, and he's consistently been called the C word, for what he did to navigate the industry. And I've always wanted to have a conversation. I always think I wanted to ask people, like, what would you have done? Do you really think you would have been any more black power than Lenny Henry? I'm just asking, I wonder. And though Angelica's not the same level, but where she's feeling like she didn't do enough, she didn't wear braids, she didn't speak up, she allowed herself to be sweet and inoffensive or unoffensive. It's a similar journey, maybe not the levels of what Lenny did, because Lenny's a different time, because it wouldn't have been accepted if she did that at the time that she was on TV. But it's a similar thing where she kept her blackness palatable. And that's all my thoughts.
Yeah, I think you brought some interesting parts to that, actually. Liking the two of them together. That's interesting.
I can't say Angelica was ever on my radar and as an inspiration. I think I clocked her and I was like, oh, that's good, black person. I can't say that I ever thought she's a representation of me, because we're different people. Yeah. And she seems a lot, she's, as you said, the word, it was in my head, palatable. She's inoffensive, isn't she? She's, so I think she's achieved a lot for even being in that space at the time. And I think she would have been in a difficult position, because who was black and wearing their natural hair then? It was difficult. And that's not just on screen, it's like in life. Most of us were perming our hair and shit like that then, because society was telling us this is the way that we need to look. So we've come out of different things, of different eras now, but we're still facing problems. But I think she shouldn't be hard on herself in that respect. Within her own private life, she's about being black. It's not like she's anti-black, or is she no Kemi, is she? She hasn't said statements like that. So I think she achieved a lot of things, and she probably opened the door for a lot of girls that were looking to be presenters and thought, okay, here's a presenter, I want to be a presenter, and then they went on to be them and represent themselves. The Lenny Henry thing, I always struggle with that. Because for me, you're saying there weren't black people. Okay, he made a conscious decision for one reason or another to represent himself in the way that he did in his personal life as well. And that's what he did. And there were black people around at the time doing comedy, and they went in another direction.
But Josie Darby wore her hair in braids. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to do whataboutery, but Josie Darby was on screen and she wore braids. Not to say that she wore braids, so why did Angelica feel like she couldn't wear braids? Do you get what I'm saying? It's just
because maybe in her community and what the people that she was dealing with, and I used to straighten my hair all the time because that's what I did at the time. You know, it took me a long time to even be like, what is my natural hair? Because I'd been straightening my hair from since I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
I was in my 20s when I went natural. So like, maybe she was going through that. Maybe she thought, okay, I think I look better this way, and had never given herself the opportunity to to experience anything else. So maybe that's what happened to her. But yeah, it's all interesting. I don't think she should be so hard on herself.
Auntie, what are you going to say?
What's she doing now? What's she doing for the black community now? What has she done?
I've not followed her career, so I don't know.
I haven't.
Okay.
And
I would be curious to know what is going on, because I feel like, yes, it may have been hard. Yes. I feel like what she's talking about is very similar to what a lot of girls or women in the workplace feel. Do you know what I mean? You know, she was on television, so she's a representation of us in some sort. But like, it just seems a bit like, do you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing for us? If you couldn't do it then because of all the constraints, society, all that kind of stuff, what are you doing now? What have you been doing? Like, maybe, I don't know. I'll put my hands up. I don't know. I haven't followed your career, because to be honest, that kind of black didn't speak to me. It didn't speak to me when I was young, doesn't speak to me now. Do you know what I mean? It really doesn't. And like, I just don't know. Like you said, I'm glad you brought up Josie Darby, because I watched Josie Darby and her hair was natural. She had braids. Do you know what I mean? I saw June Sapong. Do you know what I mean? Like, those are the black women that spoke to me.
You said the right thing.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like, I didn't look at her and see represent. So I get it. Like, maybe you're upset that you don't have the love, or you don't have the admiration from your community in those ways. But if you're not challenging stereotypes, if you're not breaking down doors, that is a symptom of what could happen with your career later on. That's what happens. Do you know what I mean? You have to make, and I think it goes back, we have this conversation, it comes up every now and again, like, where does the buck stop? Whether it's the individual, or is it, do you know what I mean? Like, if you're in those positions, just like, you know, in this, where we are in time, we are. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, we say things, challenge things that other people in our space do not do. Do you know what I mean? Because we're choosing to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not gonna, if I wasn't doing that, I shouldn't be crying if I'm not getting recognition in some sort of ways. I shouldn't be. I should be aware of that my decisions in my journey have brought me here.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree, and I will give you a round of applause.
Thank you so much.
I agree. I watched it and I did get a little bit teary with her, like, just that feeling of I failed, and her realization of I failed at my moment. I wouldn't say you failed totally. You got a job, but you dropped the ball, because I definitely, at the time that she was on, and June Sarpong, all of them, I was in uni, and those were my aspirations, is to be there. And what it is with representation when you're looking to, you know, we're the same age group, that's a peer. I'm like, if I have to be like that, I actually don't want to be in this industry.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Because I didn't see it. It felt like, and it was a time, it's like I have friends that are presenters and they did exactly the same thing, and they're feeling exactly the same way. Like, we couldn't be ourselves. But I really challenge them to think there is power in being yourself, but you gave your power up thinking, I'm going to lose a bag if I show myself. And what content creators have shown now, because they were themselves, is there is so much value in just being yourself and having a community. And so now, the executives, because the executives never, they won't drive in anything. They're just, they're winging it as well. It's actually the talent. But when you don't think that your talent is the thing, you're able to just follow through this exec who can't do what you're doing, saying this is how it should be. And the tides have changed. So I understand her frustration. I actually feel for her. But yeah, you kind of dropped the ball. And I think it is. What are you doing now? You're not dead, and you're literally just in your 40s. Wow. Like, you still have years ahead of you, and what you have is star power. So what are you lending your voice to? Who are you talking to? Which community are you building? That's what I want to see her step into. Like, really, like, how are you going to switch this round? Who are you? And show us that, and you will have the community backing you. I think that's for all of them. You don't have to stay in the I can't show who I am. Who are you? Show the community, and the community are there because you have a higher relevancy score than most people. So start being a bit more relevant. Show yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's that. That is all.
You want to change the tempo?
I do. I just want to look in your eyes for a second. I remember what I'm doing and why.
I have a little story to. Actually, I have a question.
Okay.
Were any of you guys fortunate enough to be in Girl Guides or the Brownies?
I was in the Brownies.
I was in the Brownies for like a week.
Did you get dashed out?
No.
Oh wow! Look at the accusation.
Why would you assume? Why would you assume I'm offended?
I think it should be like, oh my god,
offended. Oh
she's
my
trying to say you're
God.
violent.
Do you
Like,
know
oh my
what I
god, red, red.
It was like parental choice for us not to do it anymore. But I wanted to stay though. I did.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay.
I was in the Girl Guides for about maybe a week or two. However, how long enough for my mum to buy me part of the. I can't speak. Long enough for my mum to buy me part of the uniform. Like I think I had the hat.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember the beret.
Yeah.
Beret.
I think I had that, but then I left after a little while because I didn't want to go anymore. But I think that was more to do with me not having any friends there, like from school and from the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I know I was a Brownie. I think it was in Wimbledon, and definitely with one of my Wimbledon best friends. Some very posh and all that type of stuff. I don't know how long I was a Brownie. I think I loved going to Brownies. I remember vaguely my dad picking me up one time, and I remember jam sandwiches. I have no context, but I just remember that. I always have that memory of jam sandwiches at Brownies and my dad picking me up, and I just remember I think the Brownie code about I promised to be myself and something.
You were pledging.
I was
your
pledging
allegiance
to the dad.
to the queen.
Yeah.
I did it for about a month. I went with my estate friends. I didn't get the uniform, but I did really enjoy it, like learning how to do the knots.
Yes.
Like all of the little activities when you would go.
They do. That's it. And
they
you
would
get
teach you something.
badges when you
Tie
do
the badges.
things. Yes.
And I feel like that's where I learned what different birds are.
Maybe.
Like I think I
Sounds
did
about
bird
right.
spotting. I think. Because I used to be into that.
Yeah, I love
such a
that.
geek.
See?
But
Oh, you
Yeah, I
probably
love
would
that.
have had fun. I really do wish that I actually had carried it on because I wanted
do I.
to go on the, like the sleepover event things.
Oh
Like
yeah, I feel like
camping and
you have to sleep in
Yeah.
bags and
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that.
There was a smell about the room as well. Like it was not a bad smell at all. It's just like there was a smell that there's something about that memory. Like if I was to go into therapy and get unlocked, there was something I liked going to Brownies. I remember the brown owl. I think it was.
I wish I continued
the
it.
brown
I
owl.
reckon I'd be
Yeah.
a lot.
Maybe you was there longer than a week.
maybe that's true. Seriously.
I feel like I had a time there, definitely.
I think it was longer than 2 weeks. If I had the beret and I remember getting a
maybe.
badge
Yeah. I'm
and I
pretty
remember
sure I had a
knots and
badge.
stuff.
And I wanted to be a guide.
I feel like
wanted to be a
yeah.
guide.
Oh, I definitely wanted
want
to
to
be
get
a
to
guide, and also like I wish I'd put my boys in a similar type of thing so that they learn different
Cubs.
things. Yeah, the Cubs. I will definitely do cadets for them though.
I think the cadets was like the cool gang.
It was the cool lot that did that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you learn so much. So what the Girl Guides do as well, like just as an organisation, they do teach the kids loads of different things. And for Black History Month, they are focusing on Black inventors and sharing stories about them as well.
Oh.
I've had lots of issues this coming into winter with my central heating. It's been an absolute problem. Like you had the guy come and service your place. I have had not very good looking ones, but I've had 3 different guys come and sort out. Yeah, 3
mate.
different ones
crazy.
to do our central heating. You need to tell us about who. I think you'll be surprised because I was surprised.
Okay. I've got a reveal.
Go on.
I've got a spot. Guess what, guys? I need a what?
What?
Oh, what?
Do you want us to do it again?
Alice H. Okay, I'm gonna do a reveal. Okay, guess what?
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 Alice H. Parker, an African-American inventor from New Jersey, patented a central heating furnace design in 1919. Central heating's black, y'all. Of course,
it's
black.
Of course,
No,
makes
but
sense.
come on, it makes sense.
It does make sense.
Right?
We need heat.
Yeah.
Right?
It makes total sense that it was invented by a black
Of
woman.
course, a black
as
woman
well.
to warm our black cockles.
I get it. And where was she from, did you say? New Jersey?
She's from New Jersey.
Yeah, it's
America,
cold around
right?
there.
Parker's furnace, it's called a Parker's furnace, I love that, was the first to use natural gas instead of wood or coal to heat a house. It used multiple burners to send warm air through ducts to different rooms, allowing for different temperatures in each room.
Oh, look at that.
See, I'm in the bedroom, I need it here, so. I'm in the kitchen, I need it there, so. It's like that, thank you, Parker. Parker's invention was an important advance in central heating, and she was the first African-American woman to receive a patent for her invention.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Thank you for
girl
keeping
guides.
me warm.
Thank you,
Thank
girl
you,
guys,
girl
for giving us
guides.
the piece of information.
I like that.
Thank you,
Innit?
Miss Alice H. Parker.
I feel like Egypt would have real fun at the Girl Guides. I can see her.
Yeah, I can see her being a girl guide.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking so cute
in the outfit and
You have to
telling me.
cookies.
You have to
Oh
be-
my God, I could so see her doing all
You
that
have to be a
stuff.
brownie. You have to go through all the brownie before you go. You can't go.
No, I
you go
was,
straight
I
into
was
guide.
just a Girl Guide.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's one of the
I
other.
thought you had
If
to.
you start that young, you progress as you get older. But you can start.
I want to join the girl
You want to
guides.
join?
You wanna join
Girl Guide now.
Maybe I'll be there.
I don't know.
It's adult girl guides,
I mean,
Maybe.
women guides.
guiders.
Answer
Maybe
in the
you can
comments.
help
Let us know.
them.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
I'll be a
You
could be a
facilitator.
volunteer.
Yeah.
do volunteering.
And then you could share some Black History Month facts too.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that.
Of course you would.
I was too much chuffed. Like literally, it's a black woman. I love
Of course,
I love
black
that.
woman.
Well
Makes
done,
sense.
man. Alice H. Parker. Guys, I think that's it. On a positive note, happy Black History Month, guys. How's it going for you? Going good?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
It is. It is.
Great Black Month.
Black today, black tomorrow.
Black next
Every
week.
day.
Every day.
Every day.
Black,
for
This
black,
particular month is richer and blacker. All right, guys.
Before we go,
yes. Guess what?
what you need to do for one is sign up to our YouTube membership, which
Yes.
is just $1.99.
$1.99.
Just $1.99.
Oh gosh.
Cheaper than a bag of chips.
All right, darling.
I didn't miss that.
I feel like I've missed a bit out.
We did.
No, it's fine, but
No,
it's
we
That's
missed
one
that.
thing that you need to
Yeah.
do, but
Yeah.
also you need to do is buy tickets.
Two.
Come on.
Please, immediately buy your tickets to our live show, Your Aunties Could Never, live at Market House in Brixton. We will be there on Thursday, the 31st of October. You need to purchase your tickets now.
It's
And
booking.
it's fancy dress, people. Fancy dress, and you can dress up at whatever you like. You know what I mean?
What do
You
you
can
think?
go full throttle, or you can just wear some like little cat ears. It's fine.
I'm going to be a
cute.
witch.
I mean,
I see it.
Okay.
makes sense. It does make sense.
It does.
Yeah. You know, it suits you.
I will be a black fairy. I just need to buy my wings and a wand. That's
Yeah.
all I need.
I will be a Caribbean queen.
Yes.
I
can't
know what
wait.
I'm gonna
Are you
be.
going to sing Billy Ocean?
No. Unless it comes up in our karaoke session.
I mean,
Because
it has
we do
to.
have karaoke.
Oh, what tune is a witch's tune?
God. Are you really gonna go as a
Ding
witch?
dong.
She's
witch is
a-
gone.
Oh, she's a witch.
She's a witch.
That's what I said.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that can be.
Black Fairy, what's yours going to be?
I want probably something by Scissor or something because she's kind of got that like fairy like.
Or Bjork? Is
No.
nice and quiet. Shh, shh. It's nice and
I'm gonna do New York.
You don't know what you're going to do because
yeah,
they
yeah.
get picked at random. Okay.
But just in case it,
Taking it off the list.
After this, after
I
this
will
and
do
out
that.
the box.
you're all alone and so peaceful until you will not fail me.
Come on, that is gonna be jokes.
Is there anyone out there that feels sorry for me and Sade?
Exactly.
Guys, don't forget to like,
We're
comment, and
just
subscribe. See
suffering.
you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye now.
See ya.